everyone, welcome to my 38 weeks pregnancy update. So I'm currently at the very end of my 38th week. I turn 39 weeks tomorrow. So I'm just going to go through everything that I have been feeling this past week. Firstly, I always talk about baby, and I usually look at my apps and let you know the baby is the size of something. But I actually know how big my baby is because I had to have a growth scan. At my 38-week appointment, the midwife measured my bump as she usually does and found that it hadn't grown since last time, or it wasn't any bigger. However, she did say the baby's head is now engaged, which is very exciting, but she said that's probably why it's appearing like my bump hasn't grown, but in fact it probably has. So she said she wasn't worried. However, their protocol is obviously for any growth issues or concerns they send you for an emergency growth scan. So I actually had a scan that same day. I was 38 plus 3 and the sonographer said baby's fine, the growth is still on the same centile it was at my last scan. So that was all fine. There is a 20% margin error, which the sonographer told me. However, the estimated weight of the baby currently is 7 pounds 4, which is about average. I think it's around the 50th centile, which means it's pretty much average for this time. Obviously it could be slightly less or slightly more. So that is baby. Obviously baby is fully developed by this stage, 38 weeks. It's full term, so if baby is to be born any day now, then it should be fine. Hopefully, touch wood, but all the organs are fully developed and ready to come to the outside world. As I mentioned, I've had my 38-week midwife appointment, and that she said the head is 3/5 engaged, although I think that means it's 2/5 engaged or something like that. I can't quite remember, but it's kind of reverse order to what you think. So it's in just engaged, I believe. I think this is correct. But that is exciting. I know it doesn't mean anything because people have said, you know, the head is fully engaged for them sometimes and baby doesn't arrive for weeks. My next midwife appointment is week 40, which is usual. However, it is on 40 plus 6, so it's just 40 weeks. Obviously the day after I'll be 41 weeks. The midwife said they will offer me a stretch and sweep at that appointment. However, I was thinking I probably won't accept that because I was thinking, well, I'm only in my 40th week. They say you're perfectly within your due period between 37 and 42 weeks, so I don't need to rush it. And not that there's anything wrong with having a sweep. However, of course, with everything there are risks. And the risk with stretch and sweeps is that midwives can accidentally rupture your membranes. If they do that, you're then on a bit of a time bomb really, because then you've got say 24 or 48 hours for labour to start, and if it doesn't start because the membranes have been ruptured, you'll then have to be induced because baby could be at risk of infection. I believe that's the case. I don't know how big the risk is of the midwives rupturing your membranes. I'm not sure in how many cases that happens. Nearer the time I will probably look into it a bit more, but at the moment I'm just thinking I'm not going to think too much about it. My thoughts are that it's a bit of a shame that my appointment is so late in the 40th week, and I think that's kind of confusing me a bit. But when I spoke to them afterwards, because my midwife forgot to write down the date, so when she gave me the date I didn't realise I was going to be 40 plus 6. So I had to call up and say, oh, she didn't tell me what date it was, or didn't write it down. And they told me, and I realised I was going to be 40 plus 6, and I said, is that a bit late? Because obviously I know they probably would say they would want to induce me before 42 weeks. So if the first stretch and sweep is at 40 plus 6, kind of when is my next appointment going to be? But the midwife that I spoke to on the phone said they aim to offer 2 stretch and sweeps before 42. So I assume I'll be offered this first one as I have been at 40 plus 6. And then my next appointment I imagine would only be a few days afterwards, but I'm not sure. But I'm thinking I will probably decline the stretch and sweep on this first appointment because I'll only be 40 plus 6. I've got another week for the baby to come naturally without any of that. But at my next midwife appointment, so when I'll be 41 plus however many days, the second time they'll offer me the sweep, I may well accept that, because if it looks like time's going on, if it looks like I'm going to be induced anyway, more medically, then a stretch and sweep is kind of the first step really, and I think at least that gives you a chance for it to happen more naturally rather than going straight to the induction in hospital. But as I said, those are my thoughts at the moment, that's how I'm feeling, but I'm just gonna wait and see. Obviously, I'm 39 weeks tomorrow, so it's 2 weeks today that my next appointment is. So I've got time, baby's got time to arrive, I'm not going to stress out too much about it. If it comes nearer to the time, then I'll probably start researching a bit more about stretch and sweeps. But in my mind, I'm thinking I probably will decline that at my next appointment. Symptoms wise, not much has changed. I am still getting heartburn. It's not all the time. I don't know if it's less than before or not, to be honest. They do say the later you are in pregnancy, when the baby does drop down a bit, you'll probably have less heartburn. But I don't know if that's true for me. I never had it every day anyway, but I definitely am still experiencing some heartburn. This week I have noticed some different pains. I think this is probably the only new thing I can think of. It's kind of like that feeling, you know, when the baby is on your bladder and it makes you want to go for a wee. It's like that, but it's more, and sometimes it's a bit sharper. I can't really explain it, but I can only assume it's because the baby is lower and now the head is engaged and it's in the pelvis. I guess that affects the other feelings that I'm feeling. And I actually think I'm needing to go for a wee more in the day now as well, or sometimes I will go and then realise that I feel like I need to go again quite soon after. I know some women probably feel like that the whole way through, but I must admit I haven't felt too bad in terms of my bladder and needing a wee, but that feeling is definitely more so now. I'm feeling a little heavier. Obviously, as you go through pregnancy and your bump gets bigger, the baby's getting bigger, you're going to feel heavier as time goes on. But again, because the baby is low, it's that extra feeling of being heavy, and you can tell the baby's low. We went for a walk yesterday and it was probably quite a decent walk that we did. It must have been an hour or so, I think, just around where we live. And I definitely felt slower, heavier. I was also worried about it slipping because it hadn't long rained. It rained the night before. And it was just a bit of a struggle, and I just felt like I didn't have much energy either. I just felt quite lethargic. Saying that though, I enjoyed getting out. I haven't really gotten out of the house much this past week, just to various things. It's hard because I'm at the stage now where I do feel like I don't want to go too far from home. I know that's silly, and I really don't want to do the whole, oh, you know, I can't move, I can't go anywhere just in case the baby comes, because it could come any day. People are right when they're saying that to me now, at the stage I'm at, but equally it could still be another 3 weeks. I know that if I sit around every day thinking, well, I can't do much, I can't go out, or I shouldn't go too far, or whatever, just in case baby comes, that's obviously not going to make me feel relaxed, and that probably will stop labour happening. So I don't want to worry too much about that, but you kind of can't help thinking like that at the same time. It's really weird. It is a really strange feeling, I think, these last few weeks, because people keep saying to me the baby could arrive at any time, or they keep asking, you know, any signs of labour yet. People will say to me, oh, I might not see you before the baby comes now, and you know that you're getting to that point, and you know that labour could start soon. But I'm also trying to keep relaxed and keep myself busy to some extent, because I don't just want to stay at home waiting for the baby, because that's probably not very conducive to labour starting. Also, I think I'm probably at the stage where I'm reading into things. So as I said, I've had a couple of new sensations, and I can't help but think, oh, like is is this the start of something? Could this be the start of something? And it's obviously not. But you just don't know. It's such a funny feeling, because you are waiting. I am waiting for the baby to arrive. I guess I can't really hide that. I know it's going to be a few weeks, whether it happens tomorrow or in 3 weeks time. That's not a long time at all, and at some point in those 3 weeks, or hopefully, I will experience labour, and it's going to happen, but I just don't know when. And I don't want to go too far from home. I'll be honest, part of me feels like I do just want to stay in and do the whole nesting thing that people think about. I want to be comfortable and cosy and relaxed in my own home environment. And yeah, I guess I don't want to go too far. I am trying to stay positive, though. I'm kind of blocking out anything negative, any scare stories. I'm trying to do some of my hypnobirthing. So I've spoken before about, I bought the digital pack from the Positive Birth Company by Chevron Miller, and there is a few MP3s, some relaxation, some positive affirmations. So I haven't, when I was at work, I actually used to listen to the affirmations in the car. But since being on maternity leave, I've definitely not listened to them every night. Most nights, I would say, but not every night. But now I'm going to make more effort, because I really want to get in a positive mindset and be in a good place to be able to relax and be calm as much as I can when labour does start. So I think that is everything that I needed to update you on. As I said, I'm 39 weeks tomorrow, so I'm kind of fully expecting me to do another update in a week's time, but we shall see. Who knows? We don't know when this little baby will plan to arrive, but I will update you soon. I will just show you my bump, and then that will be it. So hopefully you can see my bump there. I think it's dropped a little bit, but not massively. It's a little bit lower. But this is my bump at the very end of 38 weeks. That is everything, so I hope to see you in my next video, whether that's another update or who knows, it could be anything. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and subscribe, and I shall see you very soon. Bye!